Fire Creek made it possible for audiences to see what it would have been like had High Noon been a James Stewart Western. Easily one of the most iconic Westerns of all time, High Noon is Gary Cooper's best-known work in Hollywood. Released in 1952, High Noon starred Cooper and Grace Kelly in a Western tale that wound up with a slew of Academy Award nominations and wins. Directed by Fred Zinnemann, High Noon received praise for its unique take on the Western formula. In the movie, Cooper plays married town marshal Will Kane, who realizes that he's completely on his own against a gang of outlaws. Will's story sees him try to rally the townspeople to help, but his neighbors and friends aren't willing to take a stand. It's a darker look at the setting than many Western movies of the 1950s provided, but the arc it offered to its male and female lead characters made it a special entry into the genre. However, it's far from only movie to take this route. Fire Creek borrows heavily from High Noon. Fire Creek almost feels like a High Noon remake but with James Stewart. James Stewart in Fire Creek. 16 years later, James Stewart starred in Fire Creek, a Western that paired him with fellow Western icon Henry Fonda. Stewart took on the role of Johnny Cobb, a sheriff who has earned his livelihood without really having to do much to keep the peace in his small town. That changes when a group of outlaws, led by Henry Fonda's Bob Larkin, come onto the scene, prompting Johnny to step up and try to be courageous. But much like Will Kane in High Noon, he finds that the people who he has called his friends for years don't share his interest in ridding the town of the criminals. From start to finish, the James Stewart Western makes no secret of the influence it's taken from High Noon. Johnny Cobb's journey perfectly mirrors that of Will Kane's, with the supporting cast of characters evidently being inspired by the townsfolk in High Noon. Even the showdown at the end of the film between Johnny and Larkin draws comparisons to High Noon, specifically in regards to how the film's female main character plays a hand in the villain's downfall. Fire Creek proves James Stewart would have been a great fit for High Noon. Though it did not earn the critical acclaim that High Noon did in the 1950s, Fire Creek exists as proof of how well Stewart suits this type of story. While that's not to say that he should have been cast in High Noon over Gary Cooper, it feels like a story almost tailor-made for Stewart, an actor renowned for his ability to play likable everymen who just want to do the right thing. Similar to the majority of Stewart's characters, Will Kane isn't perceived as the typical Western tough guy in the same vein as John Wayne's Ringo Kid or Clint Eastwood's The Man with No Name. Rather, he's a much more subdued person, someone who feels forced into action. Through Fire Creek, Stewart demonstrates that he too could have played this iconic Western hero.